Hello everyone, Richard here, and today we're going to be looking at the newest sharpshooter weapon included in the Halloween Horrors update, the FAL. Making a return appearance from the original Killing Floor, the FAL is a Belgian weapon designed and manufactured by FN or Stahl. It is one of the most recognizable rifles of the 20th century and has the nickname Right Arm of the Free World due to its popularity amongst NATO and Western forces. Despite the rise in popularity of assault rifles that chambered smaller, intermediate rounds, the FAL remained in service with dozens of militaries across the globe, and it only saw major abandonment during the late 1970s. In-game, the FAL is primarily a sharpshooter weapon and is the first fully automatic weapon available to the perk. It is also available to the Commando as a side perk weapon and is the only commando weapon that deals rifle damage instead of assault rifle damage. Base damage for the FAL is 70 and roughly 80 damage at Tier 5, putting it on par with the Tier 3 Mark 14 EBR, and has roughly 20% more damage than the Scar H. Thanks to its high base damage, it is capable of killing basic clot variants with a single body shot as a commando, or with a sharpshooter assuming you have a combined damage buff of 45%. Against Big Zeds, the base FAL is capable of killing a max HP Scrake with as little as 15 shots for a commando with hollow points and 13 shots for a sharpshooter with Deadeye and max rack 'em up. Flesh Pounds will take roughly 20 shots from a commando and 18 from a sharpshooter. As you can see, the sharpshooter does usually save 2 rounds per takedown, however the commando's takedowns are easier in some regard thanks to the reduced recoil from hollow points and the increased magazine capacity from high cap mags. A sharpshooter, however, does have access to cryo grenades which can lock a Big Zed in place long enough to secure a kill. In addition, Scrakes can be stun locked with Ranger or Ballistic Shock very quickly with the FAL due to its high stun power. The FAL is also Select Fire, capable of firing at 272 rounds per minute on semi-automatic or 700 rounds per minute on full auto. Its full auto capability makes it very powerful against Big Zeds and bosses as you can dump a considerable amount of firepower into enemies in a short time. Both fire rates are also affected by the Marksman skill in the Sharpshooter perk, bringing the full auto fire rate in the range of 930 rounds per minute. This makes it very difficult to control at range or for those who are not prepared, so crouching and using Deadeye can fix this to some extent. Reload times for the FAL are a bit on the slower side, especially without tactical reload, taking roughly 3 seconds to complete for either one, and noticeably longer than the M14, but similar to the AK-12 and Scar H. Magazine size is standard for a battle rifle at 20 rounds, equal to that of the Scar H and the M14. However, it is able to deplete them much faster when used on full auto. Commandos can have their magazine capacity increased via high cap magazines and the Eat Lead skill. One notable weakness of the FAL is its small total ammo pool of 180 rounds, only 40 rounds greater than the M14, and roughly half of the Scar H. However, paired with another solid weapon like the Mark 14 in the case of the sharpshooter, or the AK-12, the ammo economy shouldn't be a major issue if you utilize both rifles. Overall, the FAL is an extremely good weapon for either perk, however the Commando seems to be getting the much better end of the deal. It is much easier to control, and allows Commandos to quickly deal with any Big Zed that comes its way. Since the Commando is primarily a trash and utility perk, the additional ability for it to kill Big Zeds now makes the Commando perhaps more powerful than it needs to be. This is especially true in comparison to its sister perk, the SWAT, who lacks any of the Commando's utility. For loadouts, I would recommend using the FAL with the M14 when playing as a sharpshooter, and either the Tier 4 AK-12, Tier 5 Scar H, or the Medic Assault Rifle for Commando. My skill recommendations for the sharpshooter will be Marksman, Ballistic Shock, Rack 'em Up, Deadeye, and Ranger. If you are playing with a team that seems to be dying a lot, Prepared can make a big difference if you are forced to solo the rest of a round, but otherwise I prefer Deadeye. For Commandos, I would recommend they utilize high capacity magazines, either impact rounds or fallback, tenacious, hollow point rounds, and machine gunner. Impact rounds is very useful with the medic assault rifle, but if you're like me and frequently use your 9mm to save ammo, then fallback is a better choice. Strategy wise, take advantage of the high stun power when fighting Skrakes as a sharpshooter. This will save you a few cryo grenades over the course of a wave, and this lets you save them for flesh pounds or other serious breaches. Make sure to utilize your 9mm or other primary weapons to prolong the FAL's ammo pool, as using it too often will leave you vulnerable when a quick backup is needed or big Zeds begin showing up en masse. If recoil is an issue for either perk, crouching and aiming down sights will give you the best recoil reduction, assuming the scope's visual recoil isn't too distracting for your aim. In conclusion, the FAL is a very powerful tier 4 weapon that I would almost say isn't worth upgrading because the return on investment is rather minimal and opens up more loadout possibilities. The FAL is likely to receive a slight rebalance, with fire rate being the most likely to receive the nerf bat, as it makes this weapon far too good for the commando. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of the FAL in the comments below. I will be holding off on the sharpshooter perk since one of its weapons is probably getting a rework. If you want more Killing Floor 2 guides, feel free to check out my channel or support me on Patreon. Thank you again very much for watching, but until next time, happy hunting.